Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wally Rouda. I'm your host for this leadership session. Thank you for joining me. I'm coming to you live from the city of Singapore, also known as Malayan City. It's so good to see most of you back here. I see a lot of faces from previous weeks. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Today, we're going to talk about what is the importance of strong strategy in order to survive as a business entity or as a company, whether in Singapore or in any part of the world, especially in the 21st century, post the COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 has ruined the world. COVID-19 has destroyed commerce around the world. Companies have gone bankrupt all over the world. No matter who was responsible for COVID-19, whether it was China or another country, the world is suffering. COVID-19 has made a mark and its foot on the world. The world will never be the same post COVID-19. The only corporate organizations or corporate entities, not individuals, that will survive post COVID-19 are those who are able to transform and build what we call business continuity management plans, which we've spoken about in previous sessions through our BizTalk series. So what we're going to do today is look at, from a leadership perspective, why is a strong strategy important in order to survive post-COVID-19, in order to be able to continue the journey through the 21st century. Ladies and gentlemen, today more than ever, businesses are struggling. Businesses want a magic answer to how to become successful again. Unfortunately, there is no magic. It is all about strategy and it's all about transformation. Let's look at today's lecture. So let's look at the benefits of a strong company or organizational strategy. A strong strategy is essential for any company or corporate structure or corporate entity in order for it to succeed or to continue staying in business post-COVID-19 in a very competitive market. If the organization is prepared to align its efforts or the efforts of all the people who work for it towards one common goal, one common vision, one common result, and through strong strategy provides a roadmap, a recipe for making decisions and allocating resources in order to ensure profitability. That is part of what makes a strong strategy. By having this strong, well-defined strategy, the organization will be able, it will have the ability to respond quickly and effectively to changes in the market or industry and stay ahead of the competition. We said last week that, and the week before, in some of our sessions, that in order to remain in today's business world, you need to be what we call customer-centric, first of all. We said that customer centricity is putting yourself in the customer's shoes, but you not only have to understand what the customer likes about you, you also have to understand what the customer doesn't like about you, what the customer would like you to improve, and why. It's not the customer's job to tell you, it's your job as a business to find out. Amazon doesn't ask you what you want to buy. Amazon develops a history about you based on your shopping pattern, and then they suggest to you the products or services that you have actually made clear you constantly buy from your buying habits. You know, if you don't know, now you know that Amazon, once they have your email address, once they have your IP address, they are able to actually monitor all the shopping sites you go to. They know if Jocelyn bought jeans from Levi's online. They know if Jocelyn bought cheaper jeans made in China. They know if Jocelyn actually bought a white shirt or a pink shirt based on her visits to different websites around the world and different e-commerce shops and the items she selects. Now, whether you like it or not, they're able to actually track your electronic footstep or your electronic thumbprint, and they're able to use that to build information on you and your demographic profile as a customer, which gives them the tools they need to ensure that they have the information in order to be able to move forward. It enables them to anticipate and capitalize on new opportunities, goods that you want, goods that you need, goods that you think you need. And it also enables them to mitigate against wasting their time promoting goods that you're not interested in. It's no point Amazon promoting leather jeans to a girl who doesn't wear leather. It would be wasting their resources. So in order to mitigate their potential risk of losing money on advertising that Carolyn or any of you are not going to take any notice of, they actually focus on you as a customer, your electronic footprint, your electronic fingerprint. They focus on you as a customer and your footprint on the World Wide Web to actually see what you're buying and what websites you're visiting. Today, more than ever, strategy must involve the leaders. Remember, we said C-suite or C-level, your leadership that focus on the big picture, on the long run, on more than profit or shareholder value. Today asks, today needs, today requires strong, responsible leaders as part of any organizational structure. If you don't have that core ingredient of strong leadership in order to guide a strong strategy, then you are doomed for failure. Let's look at 5 qualities of responsible leaders today in the 21st century, going into the 22nd century. Leaders today must have a sense of purpose, duty, and service towards their company and their customers. They must have compassion. They must show humility and humanity. For above average courage, they must have the courage to make decisions or take risks far above the average person. They must be seeking transformative partnerships. They must be looking to doing things eccentrically based on what they think the market, what they understand the customers want, not on what their competitors did, not on what somebody else is doing, because they think if they copy somebody else, they can be successful. And finally, leaders, C2, C-suite, and the managers that report to them, the managers that manage the people within your organization, must have the ability to inspire and show moral and compassionate leadership, empathetic leadership towards the people that work for that organization. If these elements are not the qualities or the ingredients of the leadership in any strategy, the leadership will fail. You are doomed for failure and bankruptcy. Let's talk about these. 1, we said a purpose, a sense of purpose or duty and service. It's when somebody who's doing the job in leadership dedicates oneself to something then bigger than themselves. So they're not worrying about themselves and about what they think. They worry about what makes a difference to the organization. What will happen as a result of them making decisions or actually developing ideas and strategy that are different, that will come up with a new way, something different that will help them guide their organization to making a profit or increasing their market share. However, if they just say that we're a coffee house, I just sell the same coffee as Starbucks and do everything that Starbucks does, unfortunately, they are doomed for failure because they have made no effort They have shown no duty of service. They have not tried to come up with ideas to differentiate themselves in order to be able to guide their team to develop a strategy strong enough to take their business forward. Sorry, let's go on. They have to have empathy. They have to have a high level of compassion, humility, and humanity. What do I mean by that? Empathy is feeling. Empathy is emotion towards what their company requires. They have to actually put themselves in their company's shoes. Okay, so it's not only courage, but also empathy, a high level of compassion, humility, and humanity. That means that your level C or C-suite must dedicate themselves to bigger than what they think they want. All right. They must have a sense of purpose, and they must go beyond what they think, as I said, is important. They must think of making a difference. I repeat, they must think of doing something differently. And you all know the word we use for making a difference. They need to be eccentric. Eccentric. My co-host typed the word eccentric in capital letters in the chat box. They need to go beyond the norm. They need to stop being their father, stop being their mother, stop being their uncle, stop being copycats, stop being the scapegoat for someone else, stop chasing somebody else's dreams, stop tailgating another company's success. You need to have the compassion and humility, as well as a sense of humanity, to say, I am good enough to come up with new ideas to develop strategy which will take this company to profitability. Otherwise, you need to walk away. Courage. You need to have the courage. You need to be able to open yourself to taking risk. If a leader or C-level keeps saying, I'm not going to do this because I'm afraid of the risk, I would rather just wait and see, you will fail. A leader needs dare. He needs to be able dare to go way out of your comfort zone and stand up. You need to make decisions and try things that you've never tried before. A leader needs to be eccentric. You need to do things absolutely different. For example, if you're opening a restaurant and you are opening a restaurant in a tourist area where all male tourists go, doing something eccentric could mean making sure that all your waitresses wear pink leather miniskirts with pink leather, very tight tops, and they all have pink hair. That could be eccentric because you would be the only restaurant in your area that has that. I'm not saying that is the solution for a restaurant, but I'm giving you options or examples of how courageous you have to be and how eager you have to be and how open you have to be to taking chances. You have to have the courage. Even though your competitors might say, oh, you're crazy making your waitresses change their hair color to pink. But if young men come to your establishment and spend money on food just to see all your young girls wearing the tight leather white miniskirt and the very tight leather white singlet and their beautiful pink hair and pink nail polish, if that attracts people, who cares about what others think? You need to be eccentric and have the courage above the average courage, above everybody else. You need to be different. You need to have value. You need to have the ability to motivate, inspire, and show leadership through your courage. You need to demonstrate your values and ability to come up with new, courageous ideas in order to instill the level of blood or motivation in the people below you to always come up with new ideas and not fear management because their ideas are absurd or unheard of. Remember, Steve Jobs came up with the iPhone. Before Steve Jobs, everybody thought that no one needs a smartphone. That's why Nokia failed. Okay, so you need to have that ability to inspire and show a sense of moral leadership based on the three previous values that I just spoke to you as well: courage, determination, empathy, and humility. Or you can call it humanity, but it is humility. Okay, you need to be open to collaborating with others who know more than you. You need to have the open mind that you're prepared to team up and build business partnerships, even with competitors, to make the necessary transformations. If you have a competitor who is able to teach you or help you how to transform, and you don't have the knowledge, then you either have to go and poach somebody from that competitor or try to form a partnership that will help you get to the end. I don't suggest that you go to your biggest competitor and say, hey, we're in trouble. Can we become partners? No. What I mean by a partnership is either to actually form a proper business partnership and buy a share of their company, or go in and take them over, buy them out, in order to take their business intelligence and apply it to your customers. Do not go and say to your partners, oh, my business is not doing well. Can you teach me, or can we work together? Because that will give them what they need to eat you up. That will say, your competitor's failing, I need help. That will not help you. So now that we've spoken about the leadership skills that are core element or mandatory to having strong company strategy, we also need to remember that at its core, a strong strategy should be designed to inspire and achieve widespread company-wide alignment on goals that concern its most important asset. Now remember, who are the company's most important asset? They are its people. Its people. And amongst its people, there are people known as the key people, key man or key person. And these people are any person employed by the company or organization that bring a special set of skills and carry a very heavy, substantial responsibility that contribute significantly as one of the organization's most valuable assets, being one of its people, and to the profitability of that organization in order to keep it in business. Let's ask, does everybody here understand what I mean by key man or key people? Does everybody understand? Can you wave your hands what I mean? What do I mean by key man or key people? Dennis, do you understand that, Dennis? Thank you. Remember, you might not be key man, you might not be key person or key people at this stage, but you should all have the dream, the ambition, and the focus to become a key man, a key person, or part of the key people, because it is the key people who drive a company's success. It is the key people, the level C or the C-suite people. We all know what level C is, right? You all know what C-level people are. They're your senior leadership. Does everybody understand that? All right. So you need to understand that unless you have the drive to set strategy, unless you are part of the key man or key people team, you are not driving that company. If you want to reach the top echelon of that company, if you want to have a career, you need to drive yourself towards reaching a leadership position, with the main goal is to achieve a position which is considered to be a key man, key person, key woman. Does everybody understand that? Key man, key people, key person with the right leadership ingredients are the core ingredients of a strong strategy. Everybody can have strategy, but not all strategy is strong. Some of it is as weak as piss. Some of it has no meaning. Some of it does not even make sense. Some of it people make, but don't know how to fix it. All right. So we need to remember, everyone, Amal, everyone, that your goal in the corporate world should be to become level C, C-suite, and not only that, to become a key person, key man, key woman, key person in that corporate body. So you play an active role in deciding the direction or the strategy that the company heads towards. You drive the company's success. That's when you develop a career path to success. Let's go on. As I said, the key man or the key people or the key woman is the person that a company employs that is able to develop and deliver skill, set a substantial change, bring difference to the company so the company can differentiate itself and become more successful. So what are key people? A key employee in an organization or company is the individual with ownership. It's someone who takes responsibility or who has an influence on making decisions in the organization. Once you reach the element of being one of the key people, you will not only be involved in determining the strategy and the success path or the road to success, but you will also be well remunerated and you are considered to be a stakeholder in running the organization. Now, let me tell you, based on United States statistics, a key person usually draws a salary of no less than 180,000 US dollars per annum. So in the United States, you will only be considered a key person if you draw a salary of 180,000 per annum. Now, I doubt any of you are earning that, but it's something you should work towards. Something you should work your way towards. And the hope of these sessions is to give you the knowledge to motivate you to achieve this. Strong organization strategy can only come as a result of the quality of key people who drive that strategy. Without the key people who drive that strategy, the organization cannot have strong strategy. It's quite simple, it's quite basic, and it's quite elementary. This is like science 101 of company formation or running a company. The key man or the key people are an important employee or employees or executive who are critical to the operation of this business or organization. And if they were to die, be absent, or unable to do their job, there would be a significant impact, negative effect on the operation of the company. Usually, key people possess skills, knowledge, leadership abilities, and experience that are considered crucially important for the continued success of that business. Let's look at Apple. Can everybody tell me, who do you think was a key man that once died and left Apple a legacy? Can anybody tell me who was that man? Who can raise their hand and tell me? Lydia, can you give me the answer? What was the name of the man who left Apple with a legacy? Can you unmute your microphone? Go ahead, Lydia. Can you unmute your microphone?
Sir, I'm not sure.
Okay, go ahead. His name starts with S. Do you remember? No? That's okay, Lydia. His name was Steve Jobs. Does everybody remember Steve Jobs? Okay, let's talk to Amira. Amira, could you lower your open your microphone and talk to me, young lady? Hi, Amira, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, sir.
So tell me, is Steve Jobs the man you were going to mention?
Yeah,
All right. So would you agree that Steve Jobs was the legacy to Apple? Would you agree that after Steve Jobs died, after his blueprint for 20 years ran out, Apple changed its road because its roadmap has changed since they ran out of Steve Jobs' methodology. They are no longer customer centric. They are not as customer centric as they were. The technology is no longer as simple as Steve Jobs intended it to happen. Never in their history did Apple have a worldwide recall on an iPhone. It only happened after Steve Jobs died. Never has Apple been in a state where it's losing popularity and market share as it is now post the Steve Jobs legacy. In actual fact, it is known that Apple is losing its market share in most countries except China. Samsung is taking or eating on Apple's demise because Apple have forgotten the basics, the basic foundation that Steve Jobs instilled in the Apple recipe. So Steve Jobs was the brain set of Apple. If it wasn't for Steve Jobs, Apple wouldn't be the red apple it is today. No one can argue that Steve Jobs would have happened if it wasn't for Apple. You all know that Steve Jobs worked for Apple. Jobs got fired from Apple. He went and started his own company. Apple was so impressed with his performance, they bought that company and then asked him to become CEO of Apple. Did you know that, Amira?
no.
You know now, right? You understand that now? You
Yeah.
remember that? Steve Jobs worked for Apple and was basically asked to resign. He was almost fired. 2 years later, they went and bought the company he started and asked him to come back to Apple and become its CEO. Now, do you think that if he wasn't a key man, do you think they would have wasted money buying his company? No. Do you understand that, Amira?
Yes, sir.
So if you're a key man, if you are a key woman in a company, that means you have the qualities to drive that company, which are far above what everybody else has. All right. So Amira, could you give me an example of a business where you think that leader has qualities that that business would not survive without? Can you give me some examples?
Alibaba.
All right, what do you think made Alibaba? Who made Alibaba and what makes it special?
Jack Ma. Maybe because of his being a key person too.
Okay, because Jack Ma's philosophy and because of his ambition and level of um, outspoken eccentricity, Jack Ma took Alibaba from a small um, commerce platform to a multi-million-dollar commerce platform. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Yes, sir.
But as you know, Jack Ma is no longer active within Alibaba. He is now an executive member of the board, and he doesn't actually get involved in day-to-day activities. There is now a CEO that he employed to run Alibaba. Why? Why do you think Jack Ma did that? Jack Ma told the world that the reason I'm doing that is I've already out I've exhausted all my ideas. It's time now for somebody younger to come in and bring new ideas to Alibaba to make sure that it continues on its road for success. So even though Jack Ma still sits on the board, but he is not the one developing strategy anymore. He said to himself that I've done enough. It's time for somebody with a fresh mind, new ideas to come in. I've already done everything I know. Does everybody understand that? Thank you for suggesting Jack Ma, Amira. That was a very good example, young lady. I'm so proud of you, Amira. And I do apologize, Amira. I think that last week you tried to talk to me, but for some reason I missed your hand. I do most sincerely apologize, Amira. Thank you. I hope you accept my apology.
It's okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. I'll come back to you shortly. Thank you, Amira, for your answer. Okay, so does everybody understand what I mean by key man or key people? Can anybody else give me an example of a key man or a key person? Yes, Dennis, go ahead. Unmute your microphone, please.
Yes, sir. Good
Yeah, go
morning.
ahead. Good morning. Go ahead. Good afternoon for me. Yeah.
Uh, the key man now, Mr. Elon Musk, who
Right.
invented the space
Why is he a key man? Tell me.
because of the innovation going to outer space instead of using the satellite, the one they usually using it. We make the space even
Okay.
going to the land.
Okay.
Still, you can use it.
So do you think it's his knowledge or his
Yeah,
ability to think out of the box that is driving
yeah,
the company's strategy?
exactly, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a very good example. Very good example. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Welcome.
Okay,
Welcome.
good. Can anybody else give me an example of somebody who's a key man or a key person? Who else would like to try? Iris, you've got your hand up, ma'am. Would you like to unmute your microphone? Go ahead, Iris. Yes,
Hello.
Iris. Hi, Iris. How are you today?
Hi, I'm fine.
Good.
I
Tell
just
me.
moved to the house, a little bit busy.
That's
But
okay.
yeah, I think in Amazon, what is the guy's name? Help me. That he made it from a small book online retail to a very big platform, and he's selling so much.
You're
And
talking about the one and only Mr. Jeff Bezos, the CEO
yeah,
of
I
Amazon.
forgot the name was like, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Why do you think Jeff Bezos has brought a legacy to Amazon? What do you think his legacy will be?
People liked books back then. I mean, in the old days. And it started all with like little things like books and toys.
Yes.
Then I saw that when I was young, eBay was the biggest platform, and suddenly that changed it. There was many policies in eBay, they were not good, and so on. That's for my point. And then Amazon make the revolution, especially with the fast shipping, and also by getting more China products through our third-party sellers inside. So he just took what eBay did.
Yeah. Okay, let me just
All
clarify
that.
on that. Yeah, you're right. But what Jeff Bezos did is he brought technology through artificial intelligence and robots to his warehouses. And through his ability to use artificial intelligence, he transformed the business from a very small business to a multi-billion-dollar e-commerce platform. Jeff Bezos has introduced warehouses in 21 countries. All of those warehouses are fully automated and operated by robots. Humans only do the packaging. They put the final touch on boxes that go to the customer. But everything else in that warehouse is driven by robotic intelligence. Okay. So what Jeff Bezos did is he took a simple business model of selling books through eBay, and he then captivated that in his own way by making it much bigger and opening the platform to everything else in the e-commerce world. Thank you, Iris. That was a very good example. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go on. Who else was? I've got other people with their hands up. Please forgive me. Let me take one more person. Somebody put their hand up first. I think it was Oscar. I'll talk to Oscar first. Go ahead, Oscar. What do you have to say, Oscar? Go ahead. Would you like to unmute your microphone, Oscar? Yes or no? Yes, go ahead, Oscar.
How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you, sir. Can you share your example with me?
Bill Gates.
Okay, what do you think Bill Gates did for Microsoft? Where do you think his legacy was? Why was he the key man?
Actually, it's a key man. It's because what he did in bringing Microsoft programs is something which contributed a lot
Well,
to
they
the
don't.
world today.
But hold on, Oscar. They didn't contribute. They were the forefathers, and they were the foundation of computers as we know them today. Actual fact, Bill Gates developed the Windows concept. He developed an engine to control an office solution to solve and automate office productivity or office solutions. So when Bill Gates came up with this concept of Microsoft, he never thought it could go so big, but he was the driver behind the idea. Yes, you're right. And you can see now that Bill Gates is still on the executive board of Microsoft, but he is no longer driving that strategy. He's letting somebody else, somebody younger, drive it. And everything you see about Microsoft, nothing ever changes. The basic foundation that Gates built, they keep improving on it, but they dare not change it. You understand why they wouldn't change that, Oscar? It's because it's a winning formula. If they change it, they will ruin the legacy he left them. So everything they do is an upgrade. It's a new version, but they haven't come up with a new product and call it Dot Soft or Cheesecake Soft. They have stuck with the Microsoft label. They have stuck with the Microsoft values, the Microsoft vision for its customers, and all they do is keep adding to them. But they have not dared to throw out the Bill Gates legacy. Thank you very much, Oscar. That's a very good example. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, let's go on. Who's next? I'll talk to one more and then I'll come back to you guys later. Yakub Mohan, can you switch on your camera, please, if you want me to talk to you? You need to keep your camera on for me to talk to you, sir. Go ahead, Yakub. How can I help you? Can you share your example? Go ahead, Yakub.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir, and good morning for everybody
Thank
here.
you. Yeah.
What I would like to say for a key man, I think a key man is a person who create something or has a creativity. I think the key man. I think like a person in the United States, Elon Musk, who created the Twitter. I think this man, he has I think the kind of wisdom or more creativity to create the many job for around the people in through internet.
I don't think it's wisdom. I think it's basically the level of eccentricity and the mind to be different.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not wisdom. Wisdom is
Okay.
totally different. But he has a mind or the ability to be creative. He has courage. Would you agree with that? If he didn't have
of course.
courage, he wouldn't do what he's doing. Very good. Very good
Okay.
answer. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Let
right.
me talk to the next person. Huda Muhammad. Hello, Huda. Can you share with me your idea? Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good afternoon in my end. I'm in Singapore, but good morning to you, ma'am. Go ahead. What's your answer?
Yeah, I would like to give an example as for key women.
Absolutely.
Not key man.
Yes, please.
Yeah. For example, Oprah Winfrey. She is
Yes.
the key leader of her company.
Okay, can you tell me what you think Oprah Winfrey's major achievements in driving that company are? What do you think that Oprah Winfrey brings the company?
Well, that's a difficult question.
No, it's not. You know the answer. You know the answer. Think about it.
She was
Go ahead, yeah.
She was the key of the company.
But what do you think made her the key? What is it about her that took her to the top? Why did she open her own studios from a little company? You want me to tell you? I'll give you a hint. If you watch Oprah Winfrey,
she was brave.
that's one reason, but she
Smart.
was, yeah, but no, she did something different. She was the first TV host to bring a TV show and give away free merchandise to her audience. Do you understand what I'm saying? Oprah Winfrey would bring 2,000 people into the studio and she would give them gifts. Do you understand what I mean? She would give them cars. She would take them on flights halfway around the world. Oprah Winfrey took live television to the next level. All right. No one else had done it, correct? And after Oprah Winfrey came another presenter, a little girl with blonde hair that then decided to actually go one step further than Oprah. In actual fact, Oprah taught her everything. And then she started giving away cars and Christmas presents. But Oprah Winfrey was a legacy in the world of live television. Yes, she basically laid the foundation to actually bring people into a studio and actually build the show around the people in the audience. And she still has a legacy now because she is still CEO of the television production company she built, and she still has a say on the type of shows they produce. Okay. Do you know some of the shows that Oprah Winfrey produces, Huda? Can you give me some names of some of the TV productions that she does?
Oprah show, I guess.
Yes. What
Oprah
else?
show.
Yeah. Oprah. What else?
Dr. Oz, I think.
Dr. Oz is one of hers. Can you give me one more?
That's it.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
That's all I know.
What is something common about those two shows? They're all related to people. Is that right? They all
Yes.
build the show around the people on the show, correct? Dr. Oz
Mhm.
solves problems with people who are sick. Oprah gave away money to people who needed it. She addressed social issues within the community. That's why Oprah was so successful, because she was not afraid to do it. She had the courage to do it. And thanks to her, she was successful. But it's a great, thank you for that, Huda. She is truly a female legacy, and she is truly a key person in the world of television entertainment. Thank you so much, Huda. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let me go on and talk to one more person, and then we'll continue our lesson. Who was next in the queue? Annie Kusi. Hi, Annie. Are you there? Sorry, it's Amy. Hi, Amy. My apologies. My
Okay.
screen wasn't
It's
showing
okay.
your full name. Okay, I can see your name now, Amy.
Okay.
Tell me, can you give me an example of somebody who was a key man or a key woman?
I think for me, it's the person who failed their business in pandemic and who tried to raise up during the pandemic also. Why? Because they have courage to get out. Like especially Kingston, we know
Okay,
that
okay.
he failed.
All
We
right,
know he failed and he doesn't have anyone, or
all right.
he cannot pay the salary for his employees.
Yes,
But he tried to pursue whatever it takes. So he tried to do it. And
right.
now he knows what to deal with it. He came up from the idea to be online. So
Yes.
he
And
had
what
the
happened?
courage, he had the idea, and he got successful. So he has a lot now, branches, and he has a lot now with employees, and he's paying a nice salary for them. And
Yeah,
then
okay.
the
So
main thing is,
let me explain. So he had to have courage, is that right? He had courage.
yes,
He was prepared to
mhm.
take risk in order to get success. Good. Okay, good. Continue.
Although he doesn't have any cents in his pocket, he
I know
doesn't have
that.
any
He had nothing.
100%
He had
sure
nothing.
that he's going, yeah, and
Yeah.
he's not going to be successful, or he doesn't have any proof that he's going to be successful in on that day.
Amy,
Then,
that's
but
most successful people start with nothing. Jeff Bezos started with nothing. Um,
mm,
Bill Gates started with nothing. Okay, Steve Jobs started with nothing. Success comes as a result of failure. Do you understand where I'm coming from, Amy?
yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
thanks, Amy.
And the thing
Very
is,
good.
the way
Go
you
on.
think, the way you think, the way you live. If you
Absolutely.
think that you're failing, that
It's
if
all
you
about mindset, and it's all about having the courage to do something different and not fear the outcome. Do you understand that? And I
yes,
hope
sir.
you
That's
learn
why.
from that. I hope you learn from that and take it with you in your future. All right.
Mhm.
Good on you, Amy.
This is what I'm trying. This is what I'm trying to apply in myself. Why? I mean, everyone is the key, and I can be the key. You're can be the key. Only you need to think that you can be the key someday.
Yeah, but it's no use being the same. If you believe that you can be status quo and be the same as everybody else, you will fail. You have to think of what is going to make you different. You understand that? Let me give you
Yes, I
another
do.
female icon, an idol that everybody knows, Huda knows. Let's take Madonna. What makes Madonna so successful? Okay. What makes Celine Dion so successful? Celine Dion married a Lebanese man who had no money. The Lebanese man was a music producer that took Celine Dion from a small girl living in France with a poor family He took her, he taught her English, he taught her Arabic, he made her one of the world's biggest pop stars to date. That man who did that to her died many years ago as her husband of some 60 years. All right. But what he instilled in Celine Dion were the skills and the drive to be successful. The music that Celine Dion produced in English and French, she was the first pop star in the world to do it. She was different. She had the level of determination to do it. If you look at Madonna, what is different about Madonna? When Madonna goes on stage, she doesn't look like your traditional woman in a long dress. Madonna uses her appearance to win her audience. The words that she sings have an effect on people, to a certain type of people. So she has dominated that market through her being different, through her being eccentric. All right. Okay, so what I want you to remember, all of you, if you just be normal, if you follow the norm, if you follow the norm and live the status quo, just like every other girl in your country, you will forever be unsuccessful. Being successful is not about following the status quo. Being successful is about you being able to put one foot forward and say, I'm going to try something new. I don't care about the consequences. Whatever happens, happens. And I will keep doing it until I'm successful. That is the ground for being eccentric. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Thank you so much. Okay, so let me ask you, I got two more hands up, Yakubu and Manai. Just give me some minutes and I will definitely come back to you guys. Please let me just move forward with the lesson. Okay, so we've just heard from many people that the examples of a key man, key person, or key woman. Oprah Winfrey, we've heard about Madonna and the legacy she's left on pop music with the new way she delivers it. All right. Some people say that Michael Jackson left a legacy on music as well because of his type of music, his soft voice, his white skin, which was his trademark. All of these people left a legacy in their own way. But in the business world, in the corporate world, you need to leave a corporate legacy. That means you need to show that you are able to bring results, financial results, for the continued success of that business, organization, or entity. For every key man, there is usually what we call a key man clause. So key man clause is a clause that's put into the employment contract of anybody who is considered to be a key man or a key woman, Huda. And this contract clause in their employment contract would prohibit them from doing the same business or working for someone else in the same industry for a fixed number of years after they've left your company or whilst they're working for your company. For example, a key man clause would prohibit an investment firm or fund manager from making new investments if one or more key persons are not available to devote the necessary time to the investment. So just because you work for an investment house and you're a key man, you cannot go and make investments so you benefit out them without your company being involved behind your company's back. And more extensively, after you leave your company, you would not be able to go and make investments with the same customers you dealt with your company. And that is what we call a key man clause, because the key man brings a lot of knowledge and value to the company. So they have to make sure that if he leaves the company, he doesn't go and give that knowledge to someone else. This is all part of protecting your company's secret, because your key man, your key woman, they are what drives your company. So you have to protect your company's viability and interests by making sure they cannot copy a product that was developed while they work for you and sell it after they leave you. And this is called a key man clause. All right. So the next element of the strategy to be successful, or what we call a strong strategy, is what we call teamwork. You all know what teamwork is? Teamwork is a critical ingredient for any organization looking to achieve its goals and objectives. The tactics of teamwork involve the use of different strategies and techniques to build and maintain an effective team. Today, I'm going to share with you some tactics which are not normal tactics. They are in some way eccentric, but I promise you these tactics work. And you should instill these in any company or in any department where you want to build teamwork. These are Wally's tactics. These are tactics that as an academic I've taught. These are tactics that companies have started using thanks to my coaching over the last 25 years. I want you to learn from these tactics. The first tactic is for your team to have a common purpose. Managers have more influence over team culture when all members share the same mission and purpose. Do you understand that, Huda? Can you wave your hand? Wave your hand, Huda. Okay, good girl, Huda. Amal, do you understand that? Amal, can you wave your hand, or are you asleep, Amal? Amal? Amal's not here. Okay. All right. Okay. Amy, do you understand what I just said? Amy? Amy? Are you here, Amy? Okay. All right. The next one is connection. Teams need to relate to one another via their innate talents, create productive, engaging cultures on their own. Don't wait for your company to introduce your team. The team should engage. The team should have a connection between all members of the team within the company. The other tactic in teamwork is communication. Great managers treat each team member as an individual. So they must be able to convey expectations geared to each member and model effective communication in the workplace. Thank you very much. So communication, remember, is when we listen, not hear. Remember, when we listen, it means information goes in, we analyze, we ask questions, we get more feedback from the other person, we both agree on a possible outcome. That is communication. However, if you just hear, it means information goes in one ear and out the other ear, and you don't even give it any thought. That is not communication. Collaboration. This involves working together to achieve a common goal. Teams that collaborate well are more likely to achieve their goals and objectives. And finally, it's my personal touch on human centricity, understanding people. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, a company's people are its most valuable asset. First asset is the people. Second asset are the customer. Without the people, they cannot deliver. Without the customers, they have no one to deliver to. I want you all to lock this into your mashed potato brains, into your concrete brains, into your green bean brain, into your asparagus brain, into whatever sort of brain you have, that people are your number one asset. Your number two asset are your customers. Does everybody understand that? Okay, good. Celebration is the recognition of individuals' accomplishments. Okay, recognition of an individual's accomplishments is vital to the employee's engagement, but teams need to be acknowledged as it promotes cohesion and sets a good example for others. So even though you might congratulate one person on doing a great job, you should also congratulate the team that helped make it possible. Because if you do not motivate that team, then no matter what this person came up with would fail, because the team are not there to drive it. Because remember, Steve Jobs had an idea, but without the people that were at Apple to implement his ideas, he would not have been successful. So he celebrated achievement. That is celebration. So I want everybody to write these points down. Common purpose, connection, communication, collaboration, and celebration. I call these the 5 C's of teamwork. All right. Does everybody understand that? The 5 C's of teamwork. Common purpose is where managers have more influence over team culture when all members share the same mission and purpose. Connection, where teams that relate to one another via their innate talents create productive, engaging cultures on their own. Communication, great managers, great leaders, great level C, C-suite, treat each team member as an individual. So they must be able to convey expectations geared to each member and model effective communication in the workplace. Collaboration involves working together to achieve a common goal. If a leader collaborates with his team, they are more likely and guaranteed to achieve their goals or objectives. If the leader comes up with the idea but doesn't communicate and collaborate with the team, the idea will be flushed down the toilet and she will fail. And as I said, Wally's special touch of human centricity, it is celebration. Recognition of an individual's accomplishments or achievements is important to that employee's engagement so you can keep him on your side, win him over psychologically. Teams also need to be acknowledged, because if it wasn't for the team who made it possible for this person to achieve the accomplishment, then he would not have achieved it. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the importance of trust and respect amongst the team members is crucial. When team members trust and respect each other and trust their leadership, they are more likely to work together effectively. This can be achieved through open communication, transparency, and mutual support, empathy, humility, respect. Write that down. Empathy, humility, and respect. Does anybody here want to ask any questions about my 5C tactics? Please, I'd love to hear from you. Anybody would like to ask any questions about my 5C tactics? Come on. Anyone? Why is everybody so quiet today? Why is everybody so quiet? Okay, all right, come on. You need to switch on your cameras. All these people with their cameras switched off, you're not learning anything. You're wasting your time. If you want to join me and learn from me, as common respect to me and as common courtesy to me, please on your video cameras so you can learn something. Samira, Daisy, Nympha, Cecilia, Jamal, you need to switch on your cameras. I need you to hear me and see me so you can learn from me. This is not just about getting a paper certificate, because if you don't switch on your cameras, I will not issue you a certificate for today's session. I'm making myself quite clear. All right, let's go on. Okay. Let's go back. So does everybody here understand what I've just explained? Emma Ogis, do you understand, Emma? Can you open your microphone? Hi, Emma. How are you today, young lady? Open your microphone, Emma. Hi, Emma. How are you?
Hello, good.
Do you understand what I mean by the 5 C's of teamwork?
I'm still learning. I'm not sure about it, but
Okay. Are you paying attention to today's lecture, Emma?
yes, sir.
All right. Please make sure you listen so you learn something, Emma. It's really important, okay? And you will receive an email with the same PowerPoint by Monday or Tuesday. All right, Emma?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Let me go back and share the 5 C's of teamwork for Emma. Okay, so the 5 C's of teamwork, Emma, are, as we said, common purpose, connection, communication, collaboration, and celebration. Make sure you memorize those, Emma, because if you don't, you won't learn anything about teamwork and building a successful team. Do you understand that, Emma? Can you wave your hand? Wave your hand. Thank you. Okay, let's go on, guys. The question of what is inside the company or what the company delivers all comes down to another important part of a strong strategy, and that means it's marketing. The question of what is inside a marketing strategy is an essential one, because without it, strategy remains a hard to grasp and impossible to manage black box. We need to look inside to understand and manage strategy effectively. And that is very, very, very critical when it comes to the company's marketing strategy, because marketing strategy is where you get your customers. And the very basic principle of your marketing strategy is you having what we call customer centricity, being customer centric. You understand that, Emma? You understand that, Amy? Amy, can you look at the camera, please? You need to look at the camera, Amy. Please help me out. It's very hard to teach you if you're not looking at the camera. Thank you. Thank you, Victoria. All right, let's look at my 6 M's of marketing strategy. Write these down, please. M1 is the products and the services that we offer and what they do for our customers. You will only know which product and services to offer if you understand your customer, put yourself in your customer's shoes, which goes back, girls, to what we learned 4 weeks ago, being customer centric. My co-host, write the words customer centric in the chat box. M2, the customers whose needs we serve and the alternatives we compete against, they have to be part of our strategy. And the only way you can involve M2 in your strategy is for you to put yourself in your customer's shoes. Again, being customer centric. Write it in the chat box again, please. Govind, M2, customer centric. M3, the assets and the capabilities that the organization and its partners can bring to the table also have to be based on what your customers want. Do you understand that, everyone? Do you understand that, Amy? Do you understand that, Emma? Do you understand that, Huda? Do you understand that, Victoria? Okay, good. So M4, the way and amount of revenues an organization generates versus the costs and risks the organization needs to take to win those customers. All right. So if you understand your customer correctly, if you know who your real customers are, you would stop wasting money on marketing to the wrong customers. And therefore you would protect and lower your costs and risk of failing because you're targeting the wrong market audience or the wrong market demographics. Number 5, the things that customers find most important and to which they most aspire. For this, you remember, you need to be customer centric. M5, customer centric. You need to understand what does the customer want and why does the customer need this in order to achieve his want. Okay, if you can't do that, then you will not retain customers, you will have no customer lifespan, and you will be struggling to make enough money to pay salaries. M6, the factors outside the organization's control that help or hinder what it's trying to do. Again, this is all based on customer centricity. If you don't know what your customers want, what they need, how much they're prepared to spend, what they like, why they're thinking that way, if you don't put yourself inside your customer's shoes, if you don't keep watching what your competitor is doing to win your customers, and you don't change on a constant basis to keep winning your customers and keeping them, then you will lose. Your strategy will be wrong, and in time to come, you will lose market share and you will not have a business to actually run. Remember, marketing strategy is a fundamental mix in the business plan. Without proper marketing, you will not have customers to sell your product or service to. Do you all understand that, everyone? Does everybody understand what I just said? Yes or no? Okay, all right. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Okay. All right. M1 is what I call magic. I gave it a name. I call M1 the magic. I want you to remember this. The products and services that we offer and what they do for our customers. In order to have magic, you must understand your customer. You must be customer centric and put yourself in your customer's shoes. M1. The other element in my recipe is your market. M2 is your market. You need to understand the customers whose needs you are serving and the alternatives that they have which you are competing against. Remember, you need to understand the needs of the customers your organization is serving, and you need to understand what alternatives are competing against you so you can make sure your customer has no reason to go to your competitor. The market. Number 3 is the means. Write it down, Amy. Number 3 is means. What do I mean by number 3, Emma? You must have the assets and the capabilities that the organization and its partners can bring to the table in line with what the customer wants. So if you cannot provide your customer what they want, you might as well not waste money on that customer. You need to have the financial means. Does everybody understand that, Emma? Good. The money, M4. The way and amount of revenue an organization generates versus the costs and risks the organizations need to take. For example, how much money you spend to win over a customer, to retain that customer. If you don't understand that customer psychology, you don't put yourself inside the customer's shoes, you will waste money trying to get a customer who's never going to come to you. M5, I call it meaning. You need to understand the true meaning that customers find most important and to which they aspire. And this will give you the reason why they want to remain your customer. Do you understand that, Emma? Wave your hand, Emma. Don't go to sleep, Emma. Wave your hand. Huda, do you understand that, Huda? Wave your hand, Huda. Put up your hand. Good girl. Excellent. M6 is the momentum. All of you here have the momentum to learn. That's why you keep following me. The factors outside the organization's control that help or hinder what it is trying to do, the momentum. So you have to understand constantly about why your customer changes his buying habits, why customers go elsewhere, why customers can't spend so much money because of the economy. You have to be able to cater for them and constantly bring innovation and new products, as we've spoken out before. You cannot just sell one product at one price. If you don't deal with change, if you don't constantly review your product and your pricing, and you don't understand all the factors outside your little company, then you will fail. The question of what is inside a marketing strategy is an essential one, because without it, strategy remains a hard to grasp and impossible to manage black box. You need to look inside and understand and manage that strategy effectively. The reason I'm repeating this is I want you to understand you cannot develop a marketing strategy without being customer centric. Does everybody understand that? Without you understanding consumerism, can you write the word consumerism in the chat box, please, Mr. Govan? Consumerism. Unless you're focused on being in the consumerism market and being customer centric, you cannot develop a strong marketing strategy. What does a company need to be a strong company with a strong company strategy? They need to have a focused message, understand their customer. The only way they'll build loyal customers is through customer centricity. They need to be able to produce a better return on investments year after year. They need to have an empowered team, and they need to make sure they have better partnerships, make sure they produce a quality product and sell it at the best, most economical value that their customers can afford. It's no point producing a product in Japan and selling it for $150 if you can produce the same product in Brazil and sell it for $30, providing the quality is as good as or better. So you need to find the right partnerships in your chain, whether it's in production, distribution, or delivery. A strong organization strategy requires the organization to communicate the company's vision and values to its stakeholders. And those stakeholders are its employees, their number one asset, its people, their number two asset, their customers, and of course, their number three asset in case they need money, which are their investors. If anybody tells you that the investors are the number one asset, they're not. Because for investors to get a return on their investment, you need to have customers. And for you to have customers, you need to have people to service those customers. So if anybody tries to tell you that investors are your most valuable asset, tell them to go back to school. And if they graduated from Cambridge University or Oxford University, tell them to go back and put their heads in their books and learn the chain that brings about investment. For you to get an investment from a person who wants to invest in your business, first you must show him that you have a successful business model. You have a model that works. For you to have a model that works, you must have the people to drive that model. And that model must understand and have customers that want to buy your products or services, which your people will deliver. As a result of that, investors will invest in your model. So your most valuable asset are your people. Your second most valuable asset are your customers. And your third asset would be your investors if you go to get investment from a third party or a bank or an investor or an entrepreneur or a dragon or a shark on Shark Tank if you live in the US. Because they will only invest money if you have asset number one and number two. Do you all understand that, everyone? Yes or no? So let's look at the benefits of strong organization strategy. I want you all not to write this down because you're going to get PowerPoint. Don't write it down, just listen. Number one, you need to have customers who choose you. In order to have customers who choose you, you must understand your customers and know which customers want you and deliver what they want. That way, customers will choose you over your competitor. Number two, you must focus and prioritize. As a brand, a good brand strategy is focused and provides clarity for resource allocation. And you can only do that because you're focused on your customers' needs, your customers' wants, and your customers' changing mindset. Customer centricity, understanding your customer. Amy, stop looking so basil. Amy, you cannot have a business unless you have customers. You cannot have a business without customers. Do you understand that? Okay. Number three, you have to have an empowered team, a team that is there to service your customer and deliver goods and services. Because if your team are not empowered, you cannot deliver to your customers. The team, your people, are your number one asset. You need to have better partnerships. You have to have business partners that allow you to deliver your products and services at the highest quality and best value to your customer's mindset. You need to be able to deliver to the customer's want psychologically, based on cost, based on his environmental beliefs, and based on his ever-changing needs in today's world. And that means that as a company, you have to constantly be reviewing your product, your pricing. You have to constantly be looking at market trends. You have to constantly be listening to your customers and putting yourself in your customers' shoes. Customer centricity, consumerism. Do you all write that down? Write it down. Okay. You all need to have this customer-centric consumerism, idealism in your mind. Otherwise, your head is full of mashed potatoes. You will never be able to run a strong organization without strong strategy. And to develop strong strategy, you need to focus on what we've spoken about today. They are the basic core of any strategy. Forget the icing sugar, forget the office furniture, forget on the color of your logo, forget all the other trimmings and all the other rubbish. If you can't get these 4 areas of strategy that I've taught you today correct, you will never have a strong strategy. You will always be, status quo. You will never be successful as an organization. You will never be strong. You will never be a market leader like Amazon. You will never be a market leader like Dell. You will never be a market leader like Microsoft. You will never be a market leader like Apple was 20 years ago. Does everybody understand what I'm saying today? Yes or no? Does everybody understand what I've taught today? Okay, I'm going to ask questions to test you all. When I ask you a question, I want you to open your microphone and answer it. Priya, tell me, what have you learned today? Hi, Priya. Are you there, Priya? Priya, would you like to talk to me? Can you unmute your microphone, ma'am? No? Okay, I'll come back to you, Priya. Mao Chan. Hi, Mao. Would you like to open your microphone and tell me what you've learnt today? Can you unmute your microphone, Mao? Are you there, ma'am? Go ahead. What have you learnt today, Mao? What have you learnt that will help you?
Key man and key people.
That's one element. What else? Give me one more.
5 tests of teamwork.
Very good. Excellent. Make sure, Mama, you remember these and use them. They are key to a strong strategy. Do you understand what I'm saying, young lady? Do you understand, Mama? Okay, thank you. All right, let's go on. Who's raised their hand here? Okay, let's talk to the next person here. Let me talk to Raquel. Raquel Evangelista. Hi, Raquel. It's nice to see you raise your hand. Good afternoon. Good evening.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
What have you learned today?
Yeah, the six momentum,
And what else?
the customer centric, the meaning of it, and
Right,
like we have the six momentum. The first is the magic, market, the means, the money, the meaning, and the things are
Okay.
the one that
All right. Good. Do you understand why they are the basis of any strategy? Do you understand why they are the
yeah, it could
basis?
this is the best thing that we have to remember, especially that we're going to open a business, or how to help us to build our own starting a business or in a company that could help us to build a good communication or customer relation.
Well, basically, yeah, everything you've said is
Yeah.
correct, but it's what you also need to do if you want your company to make you key man, key woman, or key person. If you want to bring eccentricity and new ideas to your company so you have a career or get promoted, you need to start thinking of how to develop strong strategy for your company. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank
The
you, sir.
next hand that went up is Victoria Reyes. Hi, Victoria, go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Do you hear me clearly?
Yeah, go ahead, Victoria. What have you learned today?
I have learned a lot today, and that will keep me being inspired. Of course, very important is you emphasize empathy and communication, which is a very good factor in like running a company. It is not only emotional coach. It is not only the EQ that we will look into, but we will also look into emotional quotient. That thereby, if we will look into emotional quotient, we will have the C's that you're talking about, which is cooperation and the rest. And also for marketing, your 6 M's, which is very useful when you are running a company or you want to be a successful entrepreneur like the others who are already faring at this moment, like the key persons you have mentioned and the other key persons too, like Ethan Donnelly. I will mention some. We also have Nancy O and also Shansia is also, these are people, and also Vince Tan. These are people who exhibited this. And one very important common thing that I have noticed is the social enterprise. Like what you have mentioned about Oprah Winfrey, they are dealing and focusing on helping people. They are not selfish. So it's at what I call social enterprise. You think of other people also. You don't only benefit for yourself, but you also have the heart for the other people to help and to share.
Thanks, Victoria. You're on the right track. Thank you so much. Thanks, Victoria. Good input. Okay, so Victoria mentioned EQ and IQ, and we will be driving EQ and IQ in Biz Talk in a few weeks' time or through the leadership series, but we'll definitely cover that. But Victoria had some very good input. Thank you, Victoria. Very good. Okay, let's go on. Who's next here? The next hand that went up was Amal Arif. Hi, Amal. What have you got to tell us today? Go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Hi, how are you? What did you
I'm fine,
understand
sir.
from today's lesson?
Sir, you have to be customer centric, and I have learned there are the 6 C's: the communication, collaboration, and connection, and communication, collaboration, and I forgot, sir.
Okay. There's
and
also
the like the means, the market, the money,
okay.
the the means and the momentum.
Okay,
And
there are,
yeah.
okay, there is more C's, and the most important C is celebration, where you
Yes.
recognize the people.
You
But
have to understand your customer, and you have to know what their needs and want is, and you have to know the communication and empathy, and you have to learn how to communicate and show
You're on the right
empathy
track.
to
Yeah.
your empathy to your customers.
You're
And
on the
be
right track.
very nice. Yeah.
All right. Well, be very customer friendly or customer
Yeah.
polite. Yeah. Thank you, Amal. And Amal, you sent me some questions. I'm sorry. I was sick I lost my voice this week, but I will definitely answer your questions this week.
Sir,
I do apologize.
I was also raising my hand before, also didn't see me.
No, I didn't see your hand, but I saw your hand now when it popped up. So I answered straight away. I do apologize. All right.
It's okay, sir. It's
But
okay, sir.
please, you will get the PowerPoint for this leadership series by Monday. Please
Yes,
study
sir.
it and learn from it. Whether you use it to run your own business or you use it to implement in your job in order to help your company set stronger strategy and be successful. And some of
Yes,
you
sir.
might say to yourself, it's not our job to set strategy. I'm sorry, but you're wrong. If somebody has their microphone open other than Amal, could you please mute it, because you're annoying the rest of the class. So let me just go on. If you say that I only work for the company and I get a low salary, I'm not there to develop strategy, then you do not deserve to be working for your company. They should fire you. Every employee that works for a company has a responsibility and an obligation to think of ways to help that company become more successful. You might not be empowered to implement that strategy, but you should always be someone who's suggesting new ideas to your manager or your leader. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? So even though you're just a grassroots employee, you should still be going home and thinking of stronger strategy and talking to your manager, leader, or supervisor and saying, I know our company's trying to do this, but why don't we think of this? Maybe this will give us a stronger market, bigger market share. This will help us capture more market. This will help us make us more profitable. If you don't do that as an employee, then you're not an employee worth keeping. Every employee needs to go home every night and ask themselves, what have I done to help my employer today? Did I go to the office, sit on my ass, go to my morning tea break, go to my lunch break, have my afternoon tea, spend half an hour fiddling my fingers, got my salary and went home? You're not an employee worth keeping. If you work for my organization, I'd fire you after 1 week. All right. So today, more than ever, if you work for someone, you have to think as if you own the company. You have to put yourself inside your company's shoes. You have to constantly think of new ideas that will help your company and your employer become more successful. And that's why you're learning about strong company strategy, so when you want to suggest to your boss, your supervisor, your factory manager, or your sales manager ideas on how you can help the company become more successful. Do you understand that, Amal? Did you understand that, Amal? Okay, all right. Yeah, okay, thank you. All right, let's take another question that's coming in from Ralima Welo. Hi, Ralima. Go ahead. Are you there, Ralima?
Yes.
Go ahead. How can I help you?
I just want to say thank you. Tonight I've learned a lot, especially the word eccentric.
Okay, yes.
Yes, to be different from the normal, So when you become different from the normal, like you'll be attracting more customers, I believe.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Let me give you an idea, Ralima. Imagine if there was a coffee shop in your neighborhood. I'm giving you an example, a coffee shop. And all the waitresses that worked there wore bunny rabbit suits, all right? Bunny rabbit suits with bunny rabbit ears. Tell me, as your first mindset, what will happen? Who will actually go to that coffee shop for the first week? all the men in the village will go to that coffee shop, right? And their
Yes.
excuse to their wives will be, but the food is very good. I don't go there for the women. I go there for the food, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
All right. Now, Relima, this is not a joke. I'm trying to make you think out of the box. But if
Yes, yes.
somebody did that, what are they trying to do? They're trying to capture a new market, right? Now, it
Okay.
might only be successful for 1 month, because then all the feminist groups will say that you're mistreating the image of women, etc., 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 and they would be forced to close down. But the simple idea that somebody was courageous enough to actually open and attract thousands of men for 1 week, that alone would have been eccentric. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And when you think of it, I'm going to give you a very good idea. You remember many years ago, Singapore Airlines used to promote itself, not come and fly the world's best airline. What did they promote themselves? Come and fly the Singapore girl. The focus was on the perfect image of the Singapore girl, right? That's what they became the best airline in the world on, not because of their service. I remember as a young executive at 23, as a junior vice president, the only reason I flew Singapore Airlines twice a week is because my boss introduced me to the Singapore girl. And the first time I got on, there was these beautiful girls at the door, and they all looked the same haircut, the same nail polish, the same dress, the same everything. And they all had a name badge. I found it very easy to communicate with them. Even though Qantas was cheaper, I still preferred, not Singapore Airlines, I still preferred the Singapore girl. 20 to 30 years later, Singapore Airlines did away with the Singapore girl image. Why? Because the Singapore girl became very chauvinistic or feministic. They wanted to move away from being called an airline that's not using their Singapore women for the right reason, okay? So they went away from promoting the Singapore girl. And what helped them do that is COVID-19, SARS, the airline industry suffered, Singaporeans became unemployed, and the airline opted to hire girls from other countries and other nationalities, which are cheaper. All right. What happened as a result of that is the level of service went down, and it took them like 10 years to bring it back to being the world's #1 airline. But until now, they have not tried to promote the Singapore girl image again. Now I hear that it's going to happen again, but I don't know when, because the airline realizes that the Singapore girl are 2 words that people remember. All right. Do you understand where I'm coming from, Alima?
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
all about being eccentric. It's all about the man that sat at the advertising agency in New York that came up with the Singapore girl ad, went into a meeting with the chairman of Singapore Airlines, a Chinese guy, and said, "Sir, we can make millions for this airline, but we're going to use your own Singapore woman, the image of the perfect Singapore girl." And the chairman looked at him. He said, "What do you mean? We can't use our women to advertise our airline." And the guy from the advertising agency said, "Hold on, sir. People will board your aircraft. Your women are on board the aircraft. It's not false advertising. We're using the women to attract people on board your aircraft." Okay. Now that eccentric mind of an advertising director made Singapore Airlines one of the world's most famous and most successful airlines ever built. Okay. Now, some people might tell you Emirates are successful, but Emirates are not successful because Emirates learned from Singapore Airlines. Emirates, when it first got founded, Sheikh Ahmad told his people to come to Singapore Airlines and have a look around and learn what they're doing and go back and start Emirates. So Emirates is not successful. Emirates copied the Singapore Airlines philosophy. And until now, Emirates are trying to win, but they are a bigger airline by number of aircraft, but they don't carry as many passengers as Singapore Airlines does, based on the amount of fares that are paid. Okay. So Singapore Airlines charges higher fares. Emirates charges lower fares to get the same customers. So do you understand where I'm coming from, Relma? Do you see my example? Okay.
Yes.
So don't be scared to be eccentric, Relma. Whatever you do, whatever company you work for, Go back and suggest ideas, even though to you, you might be afraid they'll fail, but your boss might see it as a good way to explore a new market. Don't let your fear hold back your eccentricity. Do you understand that?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you, Relma. I'll see you at the next session. Thank you, mate. Okay, let's go to somebody else. Who else wants to talk to me? Mary Ann Berdan, would you like to open your microphone? Go ahead.
Hi everyone. Hi Sir Wally. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. How can I help you?
Yeah. I learned a lot for today's training, sir, about the 5 C's, you know, for the teams. So just only I want to ask one question. There is for example, if you have a team and you have a lot of members, yeah, I know that if they didn't communicate with you, you need to find somebody, right? So there is can you help me, can you give me some ideas or some strategies except that to find somebody?
Well, what do you mean find somebody? You mean you want to bring new people
Yeah,
into
to
your
bring
team?
another, yes.
Okay. Well, what I suggest you do, Marianne, is you WhatsApp me later and tell me what sort of business you run and what sort of people you want. And I'd be happy to teach you how to find those people. But I can't give you generic advice, Marianne, because if I tell you to go looking in the wrong place, I need to understand what you're looking for. Is it people with a particular skill, or is it just people that you can work with? All right. But my co-host will send you a message in the chat box now. Mr. Govan, can you send a private message to Marianne Berdan in the Zoom chat box, giving her my 822-5220 number for her to WhatsApp me at, please? Okay, thank you. All right, Mary. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, Mary. Let me go to the next person. Next person is Jocelyn Santos. Hi, Jocelyn. Welcome to today's leadership series. Go ahead. Can you unmute your microphone, Jocelyn? Hi, Jocelyn.
Hi, sir.
How are you today? You're looking beautiful as ever. What did you learn today, Jocelyn?
Thank you so much, sir. It's been a really huge knowledge I've learned for today, sir. It's just actually I've been doing all this qualities and core values of this being qualities of being a leader. It just happened only one that I didn't use.
And what was that?
For 23 years. Yeah, for the courage to start up.
Okay, Jocelyn, let me say something to you. No, let me say something. Today, you have taken a step on a giant hill because you've admitted that you failed to use courage, right? I commend you. Everybody give Jocelyn a big hand. That is a big admission from somebody in leadership. I would be scared to say that to my boss. Go ahead, Jocelyn, give yourself a big hand. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
But I am starting actually. Since the day one that I've started on a Kingston, sir.
That's good.
Jocelyn, and you heard me from these things that I want.
I know that, Jocelyn. I see your marks every month. But Jocelyn, I want to tell you, by you admitting that you lack the courage, you've already taken the first step to success. And Jocelyn, I'm going to leave you with something I just said to the other student, Mr. Relima. Jocelyn, if you don't have the courage to be eccentric, you will never have the courage to be successful, because success only comes from failure. Do you understand that, Jocelyn?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll see you at the next. I'll see you at the next leadership series. Thank you, Jocelyn. It's so good to see you. Keep up the hard effort.
Thank you, sir, for all the knowledge, sir. Yes.
It's my pleasure, ma'am. Welcome. Thank you. All right, let me go to the next person. Who else has raised their hand here? Anyone? Okay. I see Alvin Delos. He keeps scratching his head and he wants to say something, but I think he's too shy to raise his hands. He lacks courage. So let me knock on the door. Hi, Alvin. How are you today, mate? Unmute yourself.
Yes.
Why aren't you raising your hand, Alvin? You're active and you're sitting there quietly. I'm not going to bite you, man. Come on, ask me something.
Actually, I learned a lot of things, especially from the last part of you say that they will call from benefits a strong and organization strategy. Some of part there I doing from my company already to suggest to improve our new client, and then Now I have another again I learned, so I need to apply for my boss.
I suggest you apply it, Elvin. The next time you see me, you tell me how successful you've been. And if you need any help in telling you how to apply it, you're welcome to message me. I'd love to help you. All right.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Elvin. Have a
You're
great
welcome,
day.
sir.
See you
Bye-bye.
soon. Thank you. I've got another question coming in. Victoria, go ahead, Victoria. Are you there, Victoria? Go ahead. Unmute your microphone. Go ahead, Victoria.
Yes, sir.
Victoria, go ahead.
Actually, it's not a question, sir, just an addendum.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Talking about Singapore Airlines, it's like in a company, you really need to adapt to the changing times. And your company should have what we call the unique selling proposition, and that is standing out to the brand name that you want to be remembered and to be remembered of. Another
Absolutely.
thing is the point given by Jocelyn that she is very courageous to admit that she doesn't have the courage. That is what we call self-awareness. If we are aware of our strengths and weaknesses, thereby we will be on the right direction. That is moving forward and accepting our weaknesses and focus on that weakness to strengthen and empower so that eventually you will use that what do you call that, you will use that weakness and focus on it, center on it to empower yourself so that you will be more empowered and be ready for the challenges that you will face with your company.
Thanks very much, Victoria. Very good input. Thank you. Thank you. What Victoria said is quite true. But let me go back to Singapore Airlines. Singapore Airlines are keeping up to date with their customers' thinking, which is basically customer centricity and consumerism, understanding their customer and how their customer feels about the image or portraying woman as a Singapore girl. But as society changes, as we go from the X to the Y to the Z generation, I have a very strong confidence that the Singapore Girl campaign will come back, because as the larger population is born and more males and females are being born around the world, as statistics seem to be showing over the last 2 or 3 years, they will have to go back to what attracts customers. They will have to keep listening to their customers through customer centricity and consumerism, engaging with their customer, understanding their customer, and they have to constantly change based on their customers, which is what they are doing. All right. Does anybody else have any questions from me? Ladies and gentlemen, once again, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Wally Rouda. I have been an academic for 39 years. I get my motivation from educating people. My background is business continuity management, strategic marketing, human resources, learning and development, and people management. I have been a guru for 38 years. I have been a speaker and a motivator to government and companies around the world. But my greatest motivation is when I sit in front of students like you who are doing everything they can to improve their future and move up in the world. It breaks my heart when I see some of you working in your own countries and living below the poverty line. And I know if you keep yourself on the train of learning, on the learning train, as I call it, you will succeed. Wally succeeded. Wally made it from cleaning toilets to actually publishing books and living a life that I always wanted to live as an academic. If I can do it, you can do it. I want you never to give up hope. Never to give up hope. I want you to go forward with the motivation that tomorrow is a new day. I want you to look in the mirror every day, Raulima, and say, tomorrow is a new day. One day I will be CEO of my own company. And when I do, I will do it my way. All right. Does everybody understand that? There is a great song from an American singer, and he used to sing a song, Did It My Way. All right. Okay. I'm not going to mention his name because then I'll get emotional because he's my guru. But Frank Sinatra actually was famous with two songs, New York, New York, and My Way. And I encourage you that whenever you lack the motivation to be eccentric, play his song, okay? Because he will drive you to do things his way. Do it my way, your way. Because if you do it my way, your way, you will bring new light to the world. Just like that poor man who developed the toilet that all of you visit at least once a day. You all go to the toilet and dump your waste once a day in a great toilet seat that one poor man who was struggling to make money invented, because he decided to use his brain to solve the world's problem. He got a chair, cut a hole in it, and then decided from that how to make it a toilet. All right. So if you want to be eccentric, don't ever give up. Do it your way. As Frank Sinatra said, do it my way. All right. Thank you. Huda, you have a question? Go ahead, Huda.
Yes, Mr. Wally. First of all, thank you very much for the nice lecture that you gave us today.
You're welcome.
Second of all, last week you have mentioned that if we have any suggestion for the lectures, for the coming lectures.
Yeah.
Right?
Go ahead. Yeah. What have you got on mind? Tell me.
Yes. Yes. I would like to, if you don't mind, I would like you to give us a lecture how to establish a business in, sorry to say this, but in a corrupted country.
You're not making my life easy, are you? Okay, let's say in a corrupt economy. Is that right?
Okay, in a corrupted economy, if you say so.
Okay.
Or maybe another class. It's about how to establish a business in a conflict zone or in a conflict area.
Conflict zone is possible. The other one is a very red area, and I don't want to get myself into trouble. But yeah, okay, conflict zone, I can handle that. Just because you live in a conflict zone doesn't mean you can't start business, because business today can be virtual online and you can still be successful even though you live in a conflict zone. But I promise you, Huda, give me a week or two and that will happen. All right, I'll make that happen for you. Would that be okay?
Thank you.
It's my pleasure,
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Huda. It's my pleasure.
And another question, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Last week also, I think you or Mr. The other teacher gave us a link to apply for a freelance job, right? In Singapore.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Have you done it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can't hear you.
I have a little bit difficulty.
Okay, Huda, if you do me a favor, my co-host, my administrator will send you my WhatsApp number in the private chat box now. If you can just tell me which link you've got, and I will find out what the problem is, and I would be more than happy to help you fix it. If I don't answer you today, I'll definitely answer you tomorrow, because I've got another lecture to deliver, so I might not get a chance tonight, but I will definitely answer you tomorrow, ma'am, okay? But my co-host, my administrator will send you my WhatsApp number shortly. Just put your name in the message, say I'm Huda Muhammad from Leadership Series, today's date, and let me know what your question is. Ladies and gentlemen, again, if you do need to message me or ask any questions, you're welcome, madam. Thank you so much. Okay, so if you do need to ask me any questions or message me, you must tell me that you attended Leadership Series today, being the today's date being the 4th of March, and mention your name in full, and then ask any questions you wish to ask. Okay. I thank you all for being here today. It's a wet day in Singapore. There's heavy rain and it's becoming a very cloudy evening. From Wally Rouda here in Singapore, in Malayan City, the city of chili crab, chicken rice. I say to you all, have a very good afternoon. God bless you all. Don't work too hard. Please think smart. Don't work hard, work smart. And remember, your future is in the palm of your hand, okay? The only person that can take away your enthusiasm or your success is you. But for the love of God, don't tell me I live in a poor country. Don't tell me I live in a corrupt country. Don't tell me I live in a war zone, because for the love of God, none of those can stop you from being successful. And that's the truth. Look at the people of the Ukraine. Look at the Russian oligarchs. They lost millions. They lost their ships, their boats, their yachts, their 747s were confiscated by governments simply because they had communication with Putin as friends. Those people kept fighting back, and they're still oligarchs. They made money again. But why? Is because they did not give up the will to fight, the will to learn, the will to be successful. Thank you, everyone. Good night and God